And we are live. Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Business Basics series. This is going to be part 2 of a class we started on Monday. In fact, we've already read the article, so today is more about discussion and debate. On Monday, we looked at Uber, specifically the company Uber, and the issue of taxi apps. That is to say, the question of whether or not companies, internet-based companies like Uber, should be regulated. So the title is Taxi Apps, to regulate or not to regulate. That is the question. This lesson is all about Uber, which is a new company that is competing more and more with the traditional taxi service all over the world. You're going to be working on keywords, some of the language we saw in the article. If you didn't read it, that's all right. We'll go over it. And then we're going to basically debate the issue of regulation. Why do some people feel so strongly that not regulating or less regulation is necessary to make progress in different areas of the market or different markets? Why do some people feel that by not regulating enough or more, we're going to be creating problems that we really can't solve? So Uber is a great example because it's something we can all relate to. Perhaps we can move on to another market, like the energy market. We can talk about oil regulation. We can talk about other things that might affect you personally. So all of that and more coming up in just a moment. First, a quick note about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, coming at you today from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you this class. By the way, if you click on the link in the Verbling chat window, you'll see all my upcoming classes. Just click follow on my profile. It'll take you there. You can also schedule a private tutoring class with me or buy a package, and I will work with you on creating a personalized learning plan to get you to your goals as soon as possible. So send me a message if you're interested, and I will try to find time for you in my schedule, and we will get started with that. But for now, let's take a look at our presentation, and let me say hello to everyone. So here's the presentation first. There you go. And if you want a copy of this, click on the link that I just put in the chat window. If you want to download this, there's exercises and things that we can't do in class that you can do if you open it, okay? So let's just say welcome back to Rafael and Khalid and Jose. Welcome back from last hour. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Okay. And let's say hello to Javier. Hello, Javier. How are you?
Hello, Jan. I'm good. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. And welcome back, Kadir. Hello, Kadir. How are you?
I'm fine. Good to see you.
Excellent. And Tanya. How are you, Tanya?
I'm fine, teacher. And you?
Very good. Very good. All right. So listen. In the last class on Monday, we talked a little bit about how you use taxis here. I asked you to think about these definitions on slide 3 and 4. I asked you to think about those as you read your part of the article. And then we split the class in half. Half the people read the no article, half the people read the yes article. And that's really about all the time we had. So what I'd like to do is, first, I want to clarify some of the language you might have encountered in the article for those of you who read it, just briefly in the beginning. And then I'd like to actually have a little debate. I'd like you to pick one of these articles and debate from the point of view of the article, not your own. We'll get to that later. But first, you have to basically pick out the key points of your article. So we'll summarize the article so that that's clear, all right, even if you haven't read it. All right, so first of all, let me just see. Let me go back to the very beginning here. For those of you who read, do you want to go over some of these key words in articles A or B. Let's start with article A. For those of you who have already read it, would you like to go over the answers here? Because we can do that right now in the very beginning. Okay? So, did anyone work on these? Or do you recall these before we begin?
Yeah, no. I recall this article.
The article, yeah, but did you do this vocabulary on your own? Did you try it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, let me just ask you, class, what do you prefer to do here? So, oh, we got some other people coming in now as well. Esteban and Anna Carolina, nice to have you. Okay. Hello. Okay, so first, did everyone or did any of you have a chance to do this exercise between Monday and today? Article A, vocabulary, and Article B, vocabulary. If so, I'd be happy to correct you. Okay, so did anyone do that? Yes, no?
Teacher,
Yes, I have some words.
Okay, so just one person. Okay,
teacher,
so, yes, Khalid.
maybe I have some choices, but I'm not sure if they are correct or not.
Okay, I just wanted to see how many people had already done it. Because what we could do is this. Okay, well, let's do this. For Article A, you tell me, let's just do a quick correction, and for the rest of you, all right, I can add the answers to the end of the page, to the end of the presentation later on. But just quickly, if you have any questions, ask them now about the vocabulary, and I'll be happy to correct you. Okay? So, are there any questions on this page about vocabulary in Article A? Any questions about those definitions? Khalid or Jose? Are there any? No? Okay. So you don't want to go over your answers?
I have some doubts, but I have done all sentences.
Okay, great. So do you want to check them? What are your doubts?
Yes.
What are your doubts?
For example, number 1, evolves.
Number 1 is evolves. Correct.
It is okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Any other doubts?
The second one, over time.
The second one, a period of history. Over time, no.
Yeah. I had a doubt with this one.
In the article, it talks about an age where regulation, is no longer necessary, something like that. So the word was age. Age. A period of history. They call it an age in the article. Okay? Any other doubts on this page? Or is that it?
The third one, stop, especially by making laws or by using authority. I think the answer is regulations.
No, because regulations don't necessarily stop. Not necessarily. The word
surprise?
Suppressed. Yeah.
Suppressed. Yes.
That's right. Suppressed.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it? Yes? Okay. In Article B, any questions about the vocabulary in Article B from your reading?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yeah.
I think the first one. How about the first one? I mean, it's for each journey, so 2 words. How about the price? And I don't know the other actually. There's the price.
So
for each journey.
Not the price, but it's the price per ride.
Yeah, the price. I said the price, teacher.
Yeah, but the answer is per ride. Per ride. Exactly.
Okay.
Like this in the chat window, by the way. Sorry, I should have put that before. Per ride, or price per ride. Okay, that's why it says 2 words. Okay.
John, for number 5, I don't find any specific word. Passengers in a taxi.
Passenger in the taxi. This one is not very obvious.
Yes.
This one is, they're called in the article fares. F-A-R-E-S. Fares.
Fares.
Right. Normally we think of a fare as the money you pay, but here they're substituting fare not just for the money, but for the actual people who are paying the fare. So a fare is a passenger, as well as the money the passenger pays.
Okay.
All right? Remember, for those of you who haven't read the article, it's no problem, because you can still do the discussion. But all of these words you should have looked at after Monday's class to get an idea. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering what's going on, we already read this before. Any other doubts about the keyword vocabulary questions here? Any other doubts on this page? Are we cool for the moment?
Begin to fail, the answer will be lost in fares.
Say again?
Unravel.
Unravel. And you weren't even in the class. How did you know that? Were you in the class somebody?
No, I read it now.
Ah, okay, very good, yeah. It's unravel, exactly.
Unravel, okay.
Excellent. Begin to fail. The plan started to unravel. The plan started to unveil. Unravel is when you have something that's nicely wrapped, like a present. And when you take off the cover, you unravel it, you unwrap it. And then it's not nice and neat, it's chaotic and messy. So the plan can unravel like a package can unravel. That's it. Okay? And I am writing in the chat window. I'm writing in the Verbling chat window right now. Can everyone see that?
Okay, yeah, excuse me, teacher.
So take a look in the Verbling chat window. I'm writing the answers there. But, Kadir, I can go back and I can add the answers after class. I didn't have time to do it when I made the presentation, but I can go back and put a master list of answers for you if you want to do this later. Okay, so check back later on with that presentation and I'll add the page. Okay, so look, you got some basic vocabulary, right? Some of the key words that we haven't mentioned were related to this article. Medallions was an important word. Cartels was an important word. I'll see if I can write these for you too. These are some words that came up in the keyword exercises. Okay, so medallions was a word that you might need to know and you should use for taxis. Cartels was another important one. That has something to do with monopolies. Maybe rivals, if you didn't know that word, came up in the reading. These are all from exercises A and B here on these last two slides. What else? Okay, monopoly. I said it, but in case you didn't know the word, it would be another useful. Maybe those are the more useful words out of these keyword exercises. Okay, so let's go to the debate. We're going to start by summarizing what we're debating. So we'll do this as a class, but you should, if you've read, then you should pick one article or the other. And on this slide, this is what I said to you in class on Monday. I didn't say underline, I said make a note of the key points and arguments in your particular article. And then we had to sort of explain it to each other. So for those of you who weren't here, let's do that now. Let's make sure that we understand the key points in both articles. So maybe you can take a minute or two, skim through your article again, and if it's the first time, you can skim through it just to get the general idea. And what we're going to do is just clarify the key points first. Then we're going to debate them. When you debate, I'm going to divide you into two groups. And so that would be Raphael and Seban and Tanya. You're going to be in article B. You're the no group. And Khalid and Jose and Javier and Ana Carolina, you're going to be in the yes group. Even if you don't agree, you're still going to argue from the yes point of view. So what I want you to do right now is just return to your article, okay? Open it up in your computer, and I want you just to skim through it and see that you understand the main points. Once again, here's the link, and I'll give you the link in the other chat window if you don't have that. It's there, but I'll give it again. There you go. Okay, just take a minute or two and just skim through the no regulation article. Raphael, Seban, and Tanya, and that is on slide 5. Don't read it, just skim it. Try to find the key arguments. And on slide 6, Carolina, Javier, Jose, and Khalid. Skim through it and make sure that you have a general idea of the key points.
Which one should I read?
You're in the yes group.
Okay.
So that means you're on slide 6. Okay? I'll give you 2 minutes just to skim through it or reread it as you like. Okay? So, Seban, which one are you reading? Are you reading the no or the yes?
The no.
You're reading the no, exactly. Tanya, you're reading the no. Raphael, you're reading the no. Okay? Okay, so if there's no questions, start skimming, and then we'll check back in 2 minutes, and then we're going to start by explaining our points to each other, and then we're going to debate it. Ooh, this is going to be exciting. Ooh.
Teacher,
Hmm?
should we underline the words that we find difficult?
Sure, yeah. If you have any questions, yeah, no problem. I'll be happy to help.
Okay, flag it down.
Mhm.
Flag it down.
Why don't you make a list? Flag down means to hail a cab, to call a cab, usually
Okay.
with your hand. But make a list, and we can go over that first. Okay? Okay, 1 more minute, everyone. 1 more minute, and then we'll get started. All right. What do you think, everyone? Shall we start with, well, first, start with any vocabulary you're not sure of. So we had flag down and snatch up. If there's any vocabulary you want to clarify, just ask now, okay, so that there's no problem understanding the article or the arguments. Okay, so if there's any questions, just ask. If there's no questions, then what I want you to do is, in your group, I want you to be able to explain the argument in your article. Okay, before you talk about your own ideas, I want you first to be able to explain maybe just one major point of your article. Okay, so in Group A, Jose, sounds like you're ready to do a little bit of explaining. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. I agree with the point. Yes, regulation prevents monopolies.
So explain the argument first.
The taxis have a huge problem because the taxi driver has a driver cost. It is the fact because the taxi company solved this problem long time ago by charging a price per ride, okay, or per unit of distance. But these systems can only work if the government establishes some rules. Okay. Then the problem is solved. But if you don't have any rules for the apps taxis, these companies has a huge competence with the companies that have a lot of taxes.
Okay, let's stop there for just a second. So, just to summarize, Jose.
Yes.
You're talking about the no article.
Yes.
And if I understood you correctly, what you're saying is.
No, I'm talking about the yes article.
The yes article? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I forgot which group you're in. Sorry. Yes, I forgot you're in the yes group. I don't know if I can erase what I wrote. Let me change that to yes. Sorry. Okay. So, in the yes article,
yes,
taxi companies charge a price per ride.
Yes.
And you're saying, are you sure you're reading the yes article? Because it sounds like you're reading the no article. Because the one you're talking about, in other words, are you reading the article by Charlotte?
Regulation prevents monopolies. Yes article.
Okay. Got it. So you're reading the yes article. Got it. Yes. Okay, I was confused. So what you're saying is taxi companies charge a price per ride.
Yes.
And that price per ride is not the real price. It's an inflated price.
Okay.
It's a slightly inflated price because it's like insurance that they'll make money. They'll average out making money because you don't know if you drop someone off. You don't know if you'll pick someone up again.
Okay.
And so what you're saying is there must be regulations in place to enforce this. Okay. So did I understand you correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Anna Carolina, Javier, Khalid, all of you skimmed through that article. What else do you think is important to know about the yes article? Any other points? By the way, do you agree with Jose that he's making, that's the principal argument?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with Jose.
Okay.
And I can add that by fixing the prices, they avoid bargaining.
Bargaining, right?
Bargaining, yes. And taxi apps are a huge problem because the unlicensed drivers can enter the market and snatch up um, in GrabFast, the most profitable passengers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that's a good point. That's right. They snatch up. You can
They
use your
snatch
word.
up.
That's right. They snatch up the most profitable passengers. Right. Or you can
Yeah,
even use the other vocabulary word. They snatch up the most profitable fares. Right?
fair,
That's right.
right. And also, the company has to limit the number of drivers who use
Okay.
to force everyone to charge more or less the same price.
Got it. Right. In other words, wow, I hope that Verbling is listening to this about limiting the number of because we seem to have more and more teachers every day on Verbling. In other words, if you flood the market with drivers, then it's like everyone loses. I mean, I think that's really what you're saying, Anna Carolina.
Yes,
If you
everyone loses, but they don't want a cartel.
exactly, exactly.
So, in order to avoid a cartel,
Mhm.
the government should regulate it. And
That's
okay,
yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it. So let me see if I can just summarize this. I wrote some notes in the chat window based on what you were saying, but just to put it simply, I think the key point you're saying here, the key idea is first, if you flood the market with drivers, there's going to be too many drivers, and they're not going to be able to make a living. Second, they're going to snatch up the more profitable fares. So it's going to be bad distribution of income or fares, bad distribution. That means, and then there's a second point that you're making. Besides all of that, because you're flooding the market, you have this huge risk of putting all these unlicensed or just inexperienced drivers on the market, people that don't really know the profession. So I think it's those 2 points. And then, so by regulating that, you should be able to control things better. Everyone should win. And what was your point about the cartel? Sorry, maybe I missed that point. One last time about the cartel. How do we avoid that? Or
okay. To avoid
Mhm.
um, the government should regulate it. The government
Mhm.
and each company could limit the number of drivers. Is it?
Mhm. Well, the thing is this: a cartel, like we mostly hear about the oil cartels. That's like the famous cartel. People will say that OPEC is an oil cartel. In English, we say OPEC. In Portuguese, it's different. I don't know how you say it in Portuguese. But OPEC, what is it? The Organization of Oil Producing Countries, or something like that. So that's like the big cartel that everyone just, thinks about the word cartel. But a cartel could be in any business. It's when all the companies get together and they decide, oh, well, a product costs $1, but if we all band together, we can all win by making it $2. Maybe the consumer doesn't want to pay $2. So it's a cartel, meaning that they've raised the prices. In America, just a quick example, in America, if you buy medication, because of the laws in America, it can be, for example, the medication, a normal medication that I take here in Portugal, in America can cost something like, I don't know, $200 or something like that. And here, in the social system, it's like $7. I mean, it's like night and day. Some medications are, right? So people would call that kind of like a cartel. The companies are getting together making sure trying to stop the legislation from changing the way it does in other countries. Okay? So, I guess what you're saying, Anna Carolina, is that regulation would avoid cartels, meaning unnecessarily high prices. I think that's what you're basically saying. Did I understand that right? Regulate the market to avoid cartels, or
Yes.
yeah, companies agreeing. It's a cartel is really when companies agreeing on exaggerated prices, and they also might be able to block other companies from being in the market through different ways. That's another thing, because not everyone has access to the technology for a taxi app. Just like not everyone can produce oil and not everyone can produce pharmaceuticals. So there's already a natural boundary to who can be in the market and who can't. Okay, very good group, very good yes group so far. Javier, Khalid, is there anything you want to add to that? You're going to get a chance to debate, but is there anything you would add so far to the yes argument? Yes for regulation?
Yesterday I read the first one, but today I read the second paragraph. The issues that here he is contracting himself by the author here or the writer. He said, if we do this, we will face this problem. If we not, we will face these problems. He will not give us a solution. He only described the reality. If we do this, it will be like this. If not, it will be. There is no such point, and as my friend here, who's Anna said, there is she mentioned all the points that I want to see.
Okay. There is no clear answer to this, by the way. It's a debate, yeah. We're going to try to decide in the next part of the class what the answer should be. And there you'll have a chance to talk about your own opinion, too. Okay. Javier, was there anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, I mean, yes. No, I agree with Jose and Ana Carolina and the rest, yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it's everything said, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get a chance to debate it in just a second. Let's go to the no group, okay? So, Raphael, starting us off, what's the principal argument of the no article, in your opinion? Did you have a chance to skim through it?
The main argument, the main
argument. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah.
As the title says, consumers should decide. For this reason, in the article, the author, Charlotte, clarified two important counter-arguments to the risks of to take a taxi by an app, the risk of the driver, and also the risk of the consumers if the monopoly continues.
Monopoly.
Monopoly.
Okay. So the risk to the driver and the risk to the consumer. So she dealt with those, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but tell us what they are. Well, what did she clarify for you?
The author says that many people, when trying to get a taxi by the app, have a risk with the driver that they took. You could get a bad driver because you don't have any kind of a standard to regulate how is the driver. But their counter argument to this reason is the app also have a feedback item that you could say this driver is so bad, this driver have a bad knowledge about the street, and this feedback mechanism could be better and safer than everything that right now are in the market.
Good.
This is an argument.
Good. So the rating system and feedback mechanism. Okay.
Mhm.
Very good. Very good. And do you want to make a point about the risk for the consumer? Is there a second point that she clears up?
Yeah. Also, the author said that the consumer have more opportunities to get different drivers cheaper and cheaper than others. The market could be regulated, but for this free market. Also said that in the ancient times we need.
Not in the ancient times. In the old times.
In the old times we needed a lot of regulation, but right now the times is changing, and for this reason you need to be open-minded to this new app that could, in her opinion, is better than the old times.
Okay, excellent. Good summary. So, just to sum up, for the argument that you're going to get an unlicensed driver, she says, as Raphael pointed out, there's a rating system, there's a feedback mechanism. If you're a bad driver, you simply won't work. The rating system won't allow it. That's what she argues. Maybe we'll disagree. I don't know. And for the consumer, you have more opportunities than before. So that's actually an interesting point, because in the Yes article, he talks about that too a little bit. And then the fundamental point is that if you believe in the free market, if you do, then you would probably say that regulations are not so needed now. And I guess what you're saying, Raphael, is that because of social media and the flow of information, that markets can regulate themselves just through Twitter, Facebook, and news feeds in a way that they couldn't do. It wasn't possible before, so we needed that regulation. So I think that's what you're getting at. I'm not sure, but I think that's your idea. I don't know if she's saying that directly or not. I don't remember. But anyway, that's what I would interpret as why regulations might be less needed. Okay. And let's see. And Tanya and Saban, do you think that Raphael got the main argument? And would you add anything else?
Smart.
I would like to add that
Sure.
Moreover, we have a good competition.
Right.
When you use a taxi app, you can
Not
reduce
app, not app.
App.
Right.
Okay, thank you. You can reduce the price because you have a good competition. You can get the better price for your transport.
Absolutely. So, for your trip, better prices for your trip. Okay. Okay, good. So there's more competition that will drive the prices down because people want to be competitive. Seban, what would you say? Anything else?
Yes. First, there's the article B. It's discussing there's a problem for the consumer that they sometimes that a taxi driver it's inexperienced. So those taxi driver who involved in the taxi app should test it, like that it's mentioned in the article that they should have a proper insurance. They have to have a running full background check. This is very important. And the other point that for the key criticizers that they say almost anyone can be, in this app. So in this the taxi app, will be somebody else out of the company could go and pick up the consumer. Or the
fare.
The fare, but they say no. It's argued. They say the passenger it's sent a photo and everything, so it's nearly impossible for somebody else to get this passenger. So and this is and there's some point, and the final point or the last point is they say that some regulation like medallion, taxi medallion, it's keep the price high, but it's according to the study that it's conduct. It's I mean they say it's not correct that it's it keep the price not it doesn't keep the price high. So I'm not sure about the what's this regulation, the taxi medallion regulation.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't understand that part of the article. I read it twice, and I didn't quite get what they were saying. Honestly, I found it to be a little bit unclear. First of all, what do we mean by medallion? Let's make sure that's clear. What is a taxi medallion? Do we know what that means? Anyone? Before I go on? A medallion...
No, I don't know.
No, I don't know. What?
Yeah, I think it's British English. That's why it might be a little confusing. I thought that they were talking about the special symbol or the license you have to display to show that you're a taxi. You can't just be a car. I think that's what they mean. Like you have to display a special medallion or a special symbol, and only with that symbol are you an official taxi. So you can't just be... In New York, we have official taxis and we have unofficial taxis, especially like in the old days in Brooklyn. When I was living there, you never saw a yellow cab in Brooklyn because they didn't go there. They wouldn't make any money. Nowadays, maybe they do. So those were all like unlicensed taxis, and you never knew who was driving the car, what was going to happen. So I think that's what they're getting at. But honestly, I found it a little bit confusing too. Well, listen, all of you have presented great points. So I think you really got the articles really well. In fact, better than I would have even expected. Let's debate this. I think it would be good for us to talk about our real opinions. But I want you to talk about your real opinion in relation to the things we've said. And I tried to take some notes for you in the chat window if you want to review some of those arguments. All right? So rather than having a two-group debate, let's have an open discussion and where you can talk about your actual opinions. Okay? So I want to start with Javier because you didn't have a chance to say anything before. So Javier, get us started. Which side are you on? What do you think? If you had to make a decision right now as a lawmaker, which side would you come down on? The yes or the no? No to regulation or yes to regulation?
Yeah, I mean, as a consumer, I would say no. I mean, I know that there must be some regulations and some rules as well, but finally, if something happens, it's because of something as well. So in the taxi sector, probably there was a gap for people who wanted a taxi as soon as possible and with a cheaper price, and in that sense, the taxi sector couldn't provide this service in a good price, and finally someone saw this gap and could start these apps for taxis, no?
Let me just interrupt you for a second. Instead of saying finally, you could say in the end, or you could say an expression like at the end of the day. And what that means is to conclude or to sum up. But finally doesn't mean to conclude or to sum up. So you got two suggestions, but you could also say to sum up. To sum up, at the end of the day, in the end. At the end of the day, someone exploited a vulnerability. Isn't that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And so you think that that is a legitimate thing, right? In fact, it's It keeps the market healthy. Isn't that what your point is?
Yeah, I think healthy and probably healthy, and someone has to take decisions about this, or to put another regulation, or to dig inside of this situation. No? But actually, yeah, I mean, the taxi sector has another competitor like the bus or train or even BlaBlaCar. You have as a website to share a ride with other people. But yeah, I agree with. I know that it's a pain in the ass for the taxi drivers, but on the other hand, it's good for the consumers and for the people who want to take the taxi.
Right. Remember, there are children watching. You can't say pain in the ass. You have to say it's a pain. It's a pain. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, let's counterpoint Javier's opinion. Let's go. Let's see if we can go to someone in the that was. So you're agreeing with the no group. Well, someone in the yes. Someone who sides with the yes. Regulation is important. Who out there feels really strongly about regulation?
I think now the regulation is important because the people without license, the people that use these apps, don't pay the same taxes that the people that the taxi drivers.
Maybe they don't pay any taxes. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't pay any taxes.
I have no idea.
Here in Spain, this kind of companies, the government don't allow to circulate around the city. The government ban this kind of companies in Spain.
And it's because of taxes, or it's because of everything?
Because the companies of taxis was complaining all the time about this kind of companies because they don't pay any taxes, and it's not an equal situation.
Okay, so regulation is necessary if we're going to be collecting revenue, tax money from the companies. So it's kind of an issue of fairness. My question is, why doesn't Uber have to pay taxes? If Uber comes to your city, how do they get away with not paying taxes? I don't see why. Is that
I think that the government should be established some rules for this kind of companies.
Right. So maybe the point is that because it's internet-based, it's too hard to regulate. I'm still having trouble understanding what the problem is. I'm not sure why they wouldn't be subject to taxes. Does anyone know why they wouldn't have to pay taxes? Just out of curiosity? Because I'm saying,
I don't know why.
I'm American. If I pay taxes in Portugal, then I am exempt from taxes in the United States. Up to $100,000, American citizens don't pay taxes outside of the country. But you do pay local taxes, so I have to pay taxes in Portugal. But I get paid in dollars. I still have to declare my income here, right? You still have to declare your income wherever you live. So I don't quite, I don't know. I'm not really clear on what the tax issue would be. Except maybe, I don't know. I guess if they're not based in Spain, then they're not subject to Spanish taxes, but they're operating in Spain. So it's a little bit confusing, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're not based in Spain. So, but that seems to be a bureaucracy issue. Let me ask you this, class. If we regulate this, aren't we holding back the floodgates of technology? I mean, the point is this: everybody is going to walk around, or already is walking around, with one of these or a phone, and it's just a better deal to be able to do this and have a taxi pretty much any time of day. As far as I know, that's how it works. So if we regulate it, aren't we stopping something that makes the business better for the consumer? Aren't we doing that by regulating? What do you think? Is that question clear? Maybe it's not clear what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah.
This is clear.
What do you think? So,
Could you repeat the question, teacher, please?
My question is just this. Will regulation stop the improvement of the business? Because normally you don't use your smartphone or your tablet to call a taxi. You have to stand on the street and you have to flag down a taxi.
Yeah.
You can call, but those taxis might be more expensive or whatever. And they're, you know, whenever I call a taxi, rarely, but whenever I do, well, it's not the same as being on a street and pressing a button on a map, and it's very efficient, you know. Calling is a little bit inefficient. You have to talk to someone, they have to radio to a taxi. So, my question is, won't regulation prevent this new technological way of doing it, which seems like a better way? Aren't we holding back innovation if we put too much regulation on the industry? Do you think we're holding back innovation with regulation?
I don't believe. I believe that the flag down, we will finish with the regulation. It's a way to finish with the normal way to take a cap, because it is how can I say? It's clear. How can I say? It's true that we using the internet and apps is easier to take a cap. So everybody with the regulation will take a cap with app.
Wait a second. The idea is that if we regulate, then there may not be any apps. That's the idea.
Okay, don't have apps anymore. Oh.
Yeah, because Jose is saying in Valencia they banned it. It's not allowed. So maybe they can change the laws, but for the moment, apps are banned.
In my mind, with the regulation, the government will create a way to become the apps regular. Right. So, in my mind, we will keep using the apps, but in the regular way. So in my mind,
in your mind it's going to happen, but in reality we have a problem, Tanya, which is the internet is hard to regulate because anyone can put up a website, right?
Yes, I know.
I think that's what Uber is doing. I mean, I haven't really read too much about it. I know there's some controversy. I know there was something like sexual assaults in some of the cabs, and there was safety issues. I remember hearing those news items. But my guess is that Uber is just able to put up a website and make business like that. And it's moving faster than the regulation can keep up with it, and maybe that's the problem. So what you're saying, Tanya, is that the government needs to catch up with the innovation, not that the innovation needs to slow down. I agree. I don't see any problem with that. I don't know if it's possible, but I agree. I don't think we should stop doing a good idea. That's my concern.
Yes, I agree. And I believe that the government will create a way to become this regular, because it's more tax for the government.
To regularize.
Yes, regularize. Yes, right. Because it's more tax for the government. So the government wants to how can I say, snatch up this.
Snatch up the companies, sure.
Yeah.
Snatch them up. And also, I was going to ask Saban, but Raphael, what's your take at the end of the class here? Because you said this is a controversial issue at the beginning of class. So you still feel it's controversial?
Yeah, I think, but because there are a lot of problems involved. One, I think, as you are saying, the development of technology is a good point. I think it's not related with this theme because technology always can improve and going better. But I think it's related more to monopoly. That because there are a lot of countries that have a monopoly in taxis. They have many regulations about how safety issues, how the driver's license must be. There are a lot of issues involved in this theme because you can get a taxi by app. This is not a problem right now. I think everywhere you can get a taxi by an app, but there are other issue is sharing, about sharing your car to commuting. This is a different regulation and have a lot of problems, safety problems, issues involving it.
There's all those rideshare programs. I've seen them too. I've looked into them, but I don't want to get into a car with 4 total strangers. Yeah. Some of them haven't showered. Some of them have guns. I don't want to do that. And Uber seems like, I don't just mean Uber, but the taxi app companies seem like they're just a version of that share ride thing. Okay, maybe you're not sharing your ride with someone else, but the driver of the vehicle, how do we, I mean, the thing is this, right, Raphael? They say there's a rating system, right? Okay, well, 2 things come to mind. Rating systems are useless, absolutely useless. Go to Yelp.com. You can pay 100 people to give your restaurant a 5-star rating. That's easy. Amazon does this all the time. So it takes a long time for ratings to be meaningful. You know, you literally can just pay people. And Amazon has people that are paid, not Amazon the company, but writers or publishers. They'll pay 100 people to write a positive review, which should be illegal, but how's anyone going to know? So how's the rating system going to be effective? Second, what if there's no high-rated driver near you and you have to pick one that has a low rating because you have no choice? So the rating system to me makes no sense. However, the fact that you can use your smartphone or your tablet to get a taxi, I want to keep that because that would be so much easier. You know, that would be so much easier than standing in the rain for half an hour, which I've done many times. So, final questions, class, before we go. We got to go soon. Final questions or points. Any final points before we go?
No.
No? Okay.
It is necessary to establish a regulation. For
Jose
this
says
kind of
it's necessary. Jose said this is necessary.
It's necessary.
So, Jose says it's necessary, so it must be. Tanya says it is not. Or it's not, or it is less. Okay. So I guess we have not come to the end of our debate. But think about it. Don't forget, you've got a few exercises that you could try on that presentation. And especially if you remind me, because I have a lot to do and I may forget, I'll be happy to put the answers somewhere on the last page for you to self-correct. Okay? But remind me if I forget, because I'm going to get busy. Let's stop here, everyone. Great debate. And next week on Monday, we'll have a brand new issue. I don't know what it is yet. If you have a suggestion, send me a message. I'll also be back for 2 hours tomorrow from 10 to 12 GMT with our Fun with Phrasals class, followed by Grammar Garage, where we're going to look at the final class on second conditionals. So we're going to have a last final big overview of second conditionals, much more in depth. Okay, that's it for now. Have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye for now, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.